The race against the sun, not on a bike, but to film a bike before the shadows start affecting me, and a special bike. I believe this potentially to be the best deal of any Walmart bike ever. This is the Schwinn Taff Comp. Now the Schwinn Taff existed for quite a while, and it's had a couple of iterations. And then this Taff Comp came out, and it was only out, at least as I recall it, a very limited time, and that is sad, considering what a good bike this was, but also the deal that it was at. Now, I have modified what you see here, so there are different wheels, a different fork, a lot of different components, but the core of this bike is a Taff Comp that was available at Walmart.com for $124. $124 for this cool matte black to matte red with the blue accents that are kind of a la the Schwinn Axum DP that it just showed off. As a matter of fact, some of these components were rejects from that Schwinn Axum DP build, stuff that I had or had purchased thinking, well, the blue theme will work. Then I ended up going with other components, and it left them over for this bike, which is a good thing, because it turned out to be such a good budget build. And I'm getting this out for the first time in quite a while. And let me tell you, wow, it is an absolute joy. As much as I love e-mountain biking, getting out on something so light, and this with these components is a nice lightweight. This is a good mountain bike, a very good mountain bike. And I do believe that with all of these components combined, I'm into this less than $500. And I've got a bike that can absolutely perform. Now, I do believe this dropper may have been looted from the original Axum DP, so I'm not factoring that into the price here. Yeah, Exaform is about what I thought, I think. And I think this is the actual Axum DP saddle, the original Axum DP from 2020. But still, the rest of this stuff, well, let me just show you what's on this. I'll put a link to all of these down in the description. Note, some of my links are affiliate links. I may earn a small commission, doesn't cost you anything extra. Marquee grips. BW. Maybe they're not marquee, maybe they're BW. Whatever the link says they are is what they are, but I kind of like this blue marble look, and they're lock-ons. A good dual lock-on. Now, some lock-ons have only a single lock, and that's fine, but I really trust a dual lock-on. 2 points have to fail before these would slip. I'm remembering some of these parts, like this Jessica headset, because this is a tapered head tube, so I adapted it to this fork. Is that a tapered fork? Not a tapered fork, but I did put a new headset here, a Jessica. This Jessica stuff is good. I've had good success with it. I've used a lot of their handlebars. But not these handlebars, these mountain bike sports black with their blue trim, 31.8 diameter. These are FMFXT or something. I've used quite a few of these on different builds, and I've never had a problem. And if I did have an Ace Kit Jessica, this stem would show off that little skull a bit. Uno components go way back on this channel. I've used them for quite a few years. Dropper remote came with that dropper. This trigger shifter is an upgrade. This didn't come with the bike. This was an add-on for the new drivetrain. I upped this to 11 speed L2 or LT Woo, Lieutenant Woo, whatever you want to call it. This was back in the infancy of the L2 stuff, or at least when it started to catch on. And I'll come back to this because there's a lot going on back here. First, one of my failures. Upgrading to hydraulic disc brakes, always a good upgrade in my experience. And when you can get them super cheap, it's even better as long as they work. And these red anodized tips here clue this off as kind of a Zoom knockoff, and this is the Bluke brand. And I'm going to tell you, of all the hydraulic brakes that I've used some off-the-name budget hydraulic disc brakes. I've even seen some now that are coming out on bikes, and they work fine. But these Blukes, I've had, I think, 3 sets of these, and I know that 2 of them, I donated a bike recently, donated over a dozen bikes recently, and the Bluke, I noticed there's this hydraulic feel. You just kind of get the squeeze, it's nice and smooth, and then there's just kind of collapses in on itself before it gives any resistance. So Bluke, not again unless I just don't have another option. Now, I've used a bunch of different kinds of budget forks over the years. This is a Lutu, and I don't know if this is the one that I had to replace or what, but I will tell you, this sat in my basement for quite a few months and it kind of froze in place. And when I got it to free up, I had to re-air it. But performance-wise, it actually runs quite well. You just have to regularly keep a check on the air, and you can see some of the grease oozing out there. And this was for the quick release wheels. That red stripe will clue us in that these are Novatech hubs. That's a little awkward, but I'm going to go with it. Novatech hubs. Oh, well, let me get around to the model number of the hub. Part of a wheel set that I purchased over the years. I've bought a lot of these cycling deal wheel sets. WTB rims with the Novatech hubs. And then you get Continental tires. In this case, it was Continental Cross Kings. These are 29 by 2.2. I used to buy these cycling deal wheel sets by the gross. I think when I first started buying them, they were about $139, $149 each. But now, a little more expensive. Actually, they disappeared for a while. What I like about them is you got WTB rims, Novatech hubs, you get Continental tires, or whatever tires they paired with them. It was usually Continental, but it was a good deal. I think the most I ever paid for one was maybe $239 a set for a complete wheel set. Luckily, most of our modern big box bikes are coming with quick release up front, but if it didn't, this was a way to convert really easy, and you were going to have to buy a wheel set anyway if you wanted to run a cassette at the back. And that's what this enabled. You can see I've got an 11-speed cassette here with a nice wide range. I think that's a 50-tooth. That was part of the L2, the Lieutenant Wu. I believe the last iterations of these actually came with an L2. So I might have to go back through the historical documents. Like I said, these were such an awesome wheel set, and guess what? They're sort of back. If you have a 27.5, I noticed them the other day, $199, but only for 27.5. So if you're a 29er person, sorry, no more cycling deal, at least at the time of this video. But if you're running 27.5, you might be in luck. Now, these weren't sized frames. I believe it's an 18-inch. I'll put the actual size on your screen. But I really like this frame. I mean, just look at that. Nice and good. This offset bugs some people, doesn't bother me, but I really like this swooshy curve back here. I like the look of it anyway, this nice aluminum frame and this two-tone. You either like two tones or you don't. More memory being stirred, these Puromas. I forgot about these. So far they've held up, but I'm going to be honest. I don't have a lot of miles on them, a lot of trail miles. But that might change because I'm trying to recondition myself now that fall's coming up. So it'll be more time on bikes like this. Along with the Puroma, these Meijun, however you pronounce that, XT knockoffs, even have the XT name. And the ZR Race or Z-Race, you know, kind of a race face look there as far as the graphics go. Can't remember where I picked this up. Actually, I think I got these on eBay. Link in the description if it still exists. Oh, look at this. I'm mixing it up here, 32 tooth. Usually I go with a 30 up front because I like them super easy climbs. But with that wonkin' cassette at the back, it works out well. I can tell you, I climbed up the entry hill, getting onto the trail, and even with my e-bike conditioning level, I was able to do it with ease. Some people have been complaining that these budget external bearing bottom brackets wear out fast. I haven't had them wear out super fast. I've had a couple wear out, but they're so cheap and so easy to replace, it wasn't a big deal. I've also had a Shimano wear out, so there's that. External cable routing, making it super easy, and this is external everywhere. No internal on this. It is what it is. You like it or you don't. I don't have a problem with it. And I think they did such a good job with this paint and the trim markings. Just look at that. Nothing gaudy. Plain, simple, straight to the point. Very, very good job. Schwinn, whoever did this, you need to have them trim out all your bikes. Looks, check. Graphics, check. Frame design, check. I like the overall scheme, but it is fair that I mention. I've talked about like the Axum DP, the finish on that being bike shop caliber. Very good, very durable. This one looks good, but it's Well, it's starting to show little signs, like back here. You can see the red down below there, and look here. Red, red. That's where they sprayed it red first. Then they oversprayed with this black, and it's chipping pretty easy. This one was either packaging damage, or maybe it just fell over on the trail out here. Maybe a bike crash. But this front half, the red, it's holding up pretty good. This back, it's just overspray over that red, and you can see the red under it. It's just starting to chip and come up pretty easy. So I guess one drawback is finish durability, or at least put a question mark on finish durability. Now I could put a bolt on. I know it's kind of odd to have a dropper and have a quick release, so maybe that needs to be moved. Novatech, these wheel sets were so good. I really wish they would come back with them. There are still bikes that have 135 at the back. Cycling Deal, if you're listening, bring these back if you can. Even if they're 250, it would still be a steal to get a good usable wheel set for us people that need to convert things. Somewhat ironic that I used Zoom knockoff brakes, but then actual Zoom rotors. And I like this floating design, and that black blends right in. Oh, and how's this for some anodized matching? Looking good. Even the cassette's getting in on the game. Now that's fancy. Red to red. I somehow just now noticed this Bluetooth fork. Look at that. Almost the Marzocchi M right there. Very, very close with that design. I can tell you, it doesn't perform like a Marzocchi, but it doesn't perform bad. These are 120 bucks still, I think. It's hard to be able to plan out, but still buy on a budget, but it can be done. And nothing more budget friendly than when this bike was $124. Now that price is in the base form, not upgraded like this one, but even in its base form, this bike was completely rideable out of the box on the trails. And on trails like this, you could ride for quite a while before you need to upgrade. A bike to start with, a bike to grow with, for $124, and then in the shape I've got this one in, I think under $500. I can't remember the price when I first saw the Taff Comp before the $124 clearance, but even in its base price, I remember it being very, very affordable. And Schwinn, in my experience, in my opinion, makes some really good frames. Frames well above their price tag and well above where most people associate when you're buying them. Very upgradable for me. Very good service life that I've been getting out of these. I haven't crossed my fingers here, knock on wood. Hey, I do have wood. Knock on wood, I haven't had any of these frames break on any of the big box bikes that I bought that were actual mountain bikes. Good stuff. Now, I have seen some bike shop frames break with people I'm out here riding with. And I know some people that are I know one guy that rides a Taff. The second revision Taff from 2020 with the tapered head tube. I might even have a picture I can throw in here if I can find it. If not, maybe the next time I see him, I'll show it to you in video form. $124 still astounds me. Add a few parts and it gets absolutely amazing. What do you think? Do you remember this bike? Do you wish they would bring it back? Have you never seen this before and kind of shocked by what you see? It's a looker, it's a performer, and I've been well pleased. Schwinn, if you're listening, maybe this is a bike you consider bringing back. Comment below, let me hear what you have to say. Thank you so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day.